When you hit that first roadblock or that first hard customer, then it's like your natural tendency for a lot of people would be, okay, this isn't going to work, or I don't want to deal with this confrontation, so I'm just going to go back to whatever I was doing. Whereas confidence is built in overcoming situations like that, persevering through things like that, learning how to pivot.
I think just like knowing this, that like if you keep going, you deal with the speed bumps, you put out the fires, you keep going to the other side, you're going to be so much better, so much stronger, with so much more confidence that like your business will go to the next level. Welcome back to the Legacy Shift. We are truly grateful that you continue on this journey with us. Here at the Legacy Shift, we truly believe that you can be successful in business, marriage, and family. Today, I'm with my beautiful wife, Kristen, as always. And this episode, we actually think that you should save it right now for when those tough seasons come, you can come back and re-watch this episode, because this episode is all about confidence and business. Hope you enjoy. So, you've grown incredibly, substantially, infinity and beyond in business. You're like,
You think?
Yeah, I feel like you're becoming a legit business woman.
Wow.
Yeah. From where you started when we first got together to where you are now currently, you've grown so much. And I think the biggest key takeaway is confidence. Your confidence has grown in maybe just yourself, because I feel like you've have God-given abilities to do all kinds of stuff, right? But confidence-wise, it wasn't always there, of being able to charge. Because you also really care what people think, which is good and could be bad. If you care too much, then it's like, then you just don't move, and then you're all stuck in your feelers about about just kind of about what they're thinking. If they don't respond right away, or they take a couple days to respond, then like you're all in your feelings, right? But now you've like kind of grown past that. And even in business, like for when you do your own little stuff, charging wise, you raise some rates up, which I've been preaching to you for years on. But like I can preach to you for years on raising your rates and doing a thing, but like if you don't step into that confidence, then when you present that offer to them, they're going to feel you not confident, and they're not going to want to accept it. So as much as I want to preach and be like, girl, you better like raise that up 100 times, whatever. Like if you don't feel that confident in it, then the customer's not going to feel that. And they're going to sense the unsurety in you, which then is going to like, they're going to kind of be like, oh, kind of like, and they're going to be hesitant to like, move forward with you.
Well, I think a lot of that is inherent with like being in the creative space. And so that's what I do: graphic design, like freelance graphic design, social media management, stuff like that, which social media more so there's analytics and you can measure things, but in graphic design and like package design, logo design, like those kinds of things that I've done, it's such an intangible value that like you can't assign. So I've struggled, I've Googled, I've used AI. I've used so many things to try to figure out like how do you charge for one logo, and like the amount of hours that I've spent researching that is like there is no right answer. The range is insane. You can throw up a thing on Fiverr, like one of those websites, and someone in India will do it for like $4, or you have people that charge tens of thousands of dollars for one. And so it just, because there's such a range, like I struggled with that so much. And so it's like your ability to communicate the value behind it. And I would go down to like hourly versus per project. Like that's a whole struggle. Like which one are you going to do? And I know across different industries, pricing is a whole thing in every area specific to that. But like, because it's that you almost get penalized for like being really good at it if you're charging hourly, because it's like I could nail this in less than an hour. But like the value is super high, but just because I'm really good at it, now I'm making no money because I'm charging hourly, versus trying to communicate like the power of a logo and the branding and all those kinds of things. And so that's a ton of what I struggled with. And
Yeah.
the value, like I didn't go to school for design. It was one class and that was the whole thing. It was like a fear thing in college. I went to college for business and yet, I had a passion for art and creativity, but I always felt like an imposter, felt like I would never be good enough. Or you compare, and in the art field, that's just so silly because art is so subjective.
Right.
Creativity is so subjective. And so I was afraid to even take the classes. So like I didn't have a formal education in it. And so then it's like, what can I point to say that my work is worth more than what someone else would be charging online? And so there's just so many factors that go into it.
Yeah.
So it's been quite a journey figuring out. And then as I built my resume though, and my portfolio, worked with more people, now I have like a portfolio to show of work.
Yeah.
And
And
so I
literally
feel better
vans
about it.
and trucks around Portland are driving around
That's
with
so
your logo.
cool to see.
And then
Spotting
go
'em in the
into
wild.
the plaid pantry and those little scones.
Yeah.
Got your logo
The
on
muffin
it.
bags.
Yeah.
And labels.
Labels.
Donut boxes.
Yeah, donut boxes.
Yeah, it's been, and it's so fun. I think that's the thing too, is like, I'll be presented with a project and it's like, I lowball myself because like, I just want to do it.
Right.
Like, it just sounds fun and I want to add that to my portfolio. And so yeah, it's like, but then I'll spend hours on it because I care. And so then the revision, and you never know what kind of client you're going to get. And are they going to keep coming back? And can you tweak this one thing, tweak that one thing? And all of a sudden this thing that should have been really easy is now like we're nitpicking every little thing. But so much of that goes back to like your ability to communicate the value, to present the product,
When
and
you're
to
first
sell
starting.
it. Yeah, that like, love this here. Don't pick it apart. Like, you don't need to pick it apart. Here's the reasons why I did all these things.
Yeah.
This is what it communicates. This is why I chose the colors, why they chose the fonts.
But so even you talking like that, like you wouldn't have done that a few years ago.
Well, I didn't know any of that.
Well, right.
Yeah.
But you were,
Yeah.
but you also like, you did know that, but you were afraid to like tell the client that.
Yeah.
It's like, yo, you are coming to me for this work. So
Yeah.
like this, if you want me to do it, like this is what it is. And this is why I'm doing this. And then you spit all your bars of like, this is why we're doing this. And this is why it's going to look amazing. And you're going to have people all over the place recognizing it because, and you have to present yourself well, but that comes back to like having that confidence in yourself that like you can talk to any CEO, any business owner, and then just lay it down right there. Like, this is what we're doing. This is if you want to work with me, it's this much, and you get 3 revisions or all this stuff. Like, but like you only get this, and this is what I'm doing, and like let me do it. And now I like you and this phase of you in your life where it's like you're more bossy of like, if you don't want me to do it like how I want to do it, how I see it, then like we're not going to be able to work together.
Yeah. Well,
Which
I think
is
that
dope.
goes to like,
That's that's like gangster. You know what I mean? That's like, yeah. Like,
well, because I've had clients that like, you do the work and what they're asking for is going to look atrocious. And I don't want my name on that.
right.
So it's like, you can sense some of that before you do the job, which like, this in the painting business, like when you go bid a job, the client, like, the homeowners that are going to be
Right.
cuckoo. And so it's like,
Always
you
the
either
fun
jack
ones.
up the price to make it worth it if they do go with you, or you like jack up the price so that they say no, because
Right.
you like, obviously you still want to follow through on like the bid process, but they're going to be crazy high maintenance. And if they're picking you apart when you're doing the walkthrough, what do you think it's going to be when once you actually get paint on the walls and they get
There's no
down
making
with the
them happy.
magnifying glass and they're touching everything? And so like, I think so much of it comes from learning from bad experiences with customers. And in the beginning, you take everything you can get because you're just trying to build your portfolio, build your business, get the Google reviews,
Right.
get all the stuff. And so you probably take jobs but it's almost like it's the blessing of getting to a certain point where I can say no to you. I'm not so desperate for every job that I can say no to you, even if I'd like the money, even if that would help for whatever, we're saving it for or something like that. It's like, no, because I think to the end and like the headache that this is going to be is not worth it.
It's not worth it.
And then it saves your margin. Like, you have time and margin for the next project that comes, then you can say yes to that one. So you thank yourself later for not.
Yeah, it's like taking on a really good sized job in my world, right? And you're like, oh man, you look at the dollar sign. Well, this would be nice, and you kind of do the math, and like after everything's probably going to be subtracted out, and like, oh, we can make some pretty good money on it. But then you meet the people, you actually think about it, and you're like, or I can do 10 other jobs that would equal this value so much faster, less headache.
Yeah.
Like kind of like weighing the options, you know? Because I didn't think, like you said, like it's trial by error, right? Like, is that how you say it? Trial by error or trial by fire or trial by, is it?
Yeah.
One of those, right?
One of those. You get it.
You understand me. But
trial and error.
Trial and error.
Right?
Is both?
We'll look it up later.
Okay, yeah. So, well, somebody will fact check us, I'm sure. But yeah. So then because when you're first starting off and you're like kind of starting to you'll take every client possible, and then when you find a good paying job, no matter what industry you're in, whether it's you're landing a client, you're selling a product to a certain person, or you're selling your services to somebody, and it's a big job, you look at that dollar sign. And then you can kind of go dumb for a second because it's like, oh man, like this is great. This is what it's all about. This is what all the dreams are about. And then not because you're not fully understanding or wrapping your head around like what that job's gonna intake or entail to do it, and that cost for like to get it done. Because we can throw that bet out and you look at the number and you're like, yeah, like, and this is gonna be amazing, and then all of a sudden
you have to do it now. You have to buy the materials. Right. You have to float payroll for 3 months or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
we learned that the hard way too.
So many hard lessons on that one. So the confidence coming with even doing bad jobs, like, you know, the failed jobs, like, whoops, like I failed, that sucked. But now when you come back, like you're better, like you're stronger, you know what's going on. And that next time something like that pops up, you either bid higher, you put in more details, or you just walk from it. Like knowing that like whatever your capacity is in business, like I can't do this job currently right now. Like no matter what that dollar sign is, like knowing that like you just have to walk away from it. Yeah. And I think that's confidence too. Like it's just like, I can't do that. Like we're not going to be able to do it. And sometimes there is a little other side of that too. Cause I don't want to just be like, cause then you can get stuck in this little canoe when it's like, really, you should be getting up in that yacht. But like, sometimes like you have to figure it out, but figure it out knowing that you're charging enough for it.
Yeah.
So
that you're not going to lose money.
Yeah. So that first job, maybe you lost money and like, okay, that sucked. So don't let it scare you away from never taking a huge job or a big client again. But no, okay, next time we're going to charge more. The contract is going to be way better, and we're going to do progress payment, whatever you have to do, right, to get to make sure the job gets done and less headache for you, and you actually made money. Yeah. So like I think there's a balance too. So sometimes you need to walk away from jobs and be like, you can't at this moment, but other times too you need to push yourself to be like, no, I'm not going to say no to this, but now we know how to do it. Yeah. So like learning from your past failures, which then helps give you confidence for that next one. So we did this hotel for you. This was years ago now, and I thought it was cool. It was like it was
a really cool project.
It was a super cool project.
Historical.
Changed this old school into a hotel. All this stuff, right? Well, it was all great, right? And then they started in like the baseball field. They started building these like little condo or cabins. And then I'm looking, and I just kind of asked the question, who's working on those? Because I thought I was going to maybe get a bid in on it. They said, oh, you are. Oh, I am? Cool. They said, yeah. Like basically, like my original bid was going to be like all of it. And I'm like, yeah, I'd never seen that in any plans or anything like that. And so it was just like this spiral of like panic in my face because I'm just like, because like there was so many of them and it's going to be so much work. And so there was like, it's a super long story we can for another day, but I kind of like sat down with all these like super rich owners, just like basically like not letting me leave. Basically ended up costing me like $50,000 of really hard-earned less. It almost broke me.
Well, you not only lost out on the money you should have earned, but then you spent the money out of pocket that wasn't accounted for all the materials, the labor. Yeah. All this and the months that it took to finish it. Yeah. So then you're not doing other work
to get money that we needed.
It was like a way heavier consequences than we ever would have thought.
Yeah, it was versus okay, we'll just do it and this because it's figure it out, whatever. Yeah. But it was like so much bigger than just like we did it. We got it done. But man, it like almost like I was just almost as done with everything. I was like, man, this sucks. But fast forward, what, 6 or 7 years, right? Now where we take on huge projects.
Yeah.
I love them. I want them now. Like, you know what I
But you
mean?
have a contract.
But I have a
in
contract
place.
now,
You
and
seek
things more
legal.
detail. I need all the
Yeah.
blueprints. I need to make sure everything's fine. So everything in my contract is stated. Like, this is what we're doing. If you do not see it in this contract, we are not doing it.
Yeah.
So then that's also brought up. Oh, what about this floor or this other? Because the project manager or the owner, they'll look at it and they'll see that in bold, like. If it's not stated here, we're not doing it. And so then they see it and then they reach out, oh, this part, they send me the plans. Oh yeah, sure, we'll give a bid on that. Like, no problem. And then it all works out. Everybody's on the same page. Everybody's happy. And so like in that, I can come back with confidence that we can do any size job. I don't care what the size is. I don't care how long it's going to take. I know that we're going to be able to do it confidently now. And people like, when you walk into like rooms with like people that are like super rich and they're like doing things in business, like they don't have time for like lack of confident, kind of like unsure people. Or if they do, they see you and they're going to just be a shark and take advantage and then make you figure it out. But if you can,
happened with the hotel.
Which right, yeah, exactly. So when you can walk into a conference room or on a Zoom meeting with these dudes that are doing, or girls, because some of them are, some like boss girls are doing insane stuff, and you can hold your own, and they can like feel the confidence. Man, there's no greater feeling, and that obviously comes with time and personality. But that's why I kind of wanted. That's when I started it with you, because now I truly believe that you can walk into any boardroom CEO like wants to do whatever new design, like with all of these, they're people on the board and they're going to be drilling you. And I personally believe that you can stand there in that room and then just like present what we're going to do. And this is what it is, and hold your own to these, even though you might be a little sweaty and nervous, but like, I still feel like you would present yourself in a way that they would feel the confidence, they would believe in you, and they would go with you. You know what I mean? I just feel like that's how much you've grown.
That's very kind of you.
Well, it's 100%. 100%.
You'd be with me though, right? We do.
I love it. Yeah, I thrive in that. Some people do thrive in situations like that than others, and I think for the longest time, and I think like that's where like you and I have like grown so well together in business, because that's like, I love that. I love the sell side. I love those intense moments, like, just because like this is what it's about.
Thrive in that.
You know what I mean? I thrive in it.
I want to run out of the room.
Right.
And I am sweating. And I'm hoping no one can
But that's where that's where we have grown together, and like where I've pushed you in some areas to where it's like now you present yourself in a way that like, business owners like respect you, and they look, okay, yeah, well, versus you're not getting pushed over by the crazy business owners that they're not seeing the value because they're thinking about 17,000 other things that they have to do in the business,
and they just want to make quick
decisions.
And if they feel confident about you, which is back to like you being confident in yourself. I feel like so many people, especially in the beginning of a journey, or if they're stepping out into a new thing within their business, trying to add a new service or product or something, is like just speaking to that imposter syndrome, which I felt for so long. And some of that is false, just like limiting beliefs, like we talked about before, just you feeling like you can't do it, and lack of confidence, lack of self-worth in yourself.
Right.
That takes more like internal work to work through. But also just that realization that like, if I'm feeling that, it could also be because I don't know enough. And so for me with the pricing, like I didn't feel confident throwing out a price because I didn't know what people were charging. And so I went and I researched and I dug and I looked for all the things, like what are people charging? It depends on what city you're in. What people charge in New York is different than small town Oregon somewhere. And so all of those things. But then also if someone's saying like, hey, and can you do this? Like I remember when it came to, I did logos, like flat design was what I was comfortable with. But then when I was approached to do a product label and packaging, like bread, like packaging for food. That's like a 3D container. And then the donut boxes, like these are 3D things. Like I'd never done that before. And I remember like, I don't know what I would charge. I don't know how many hours that would be on my part of just trying to figure it out. Like now you have dye lines that they send to the printers and all these things these terms I'd never even heard of. And I have a client that's asking me, can I do that on the spot? And it's like, you have that kind of fake it till you make it almost of like, yep, especially when you're growing. Yep, I can do that.
Figure it out.
And you'll just figure it out. And so like the hours, like in those first ones, I probably didn't, I definitely undercharged. But on my end, it's like they shouldn't have to pay for my inexperience in this. Like I'm going to spend the hours now to figure this out. And so because I took on that first job, scared, terrified, how am I going to figure this out? Spent all the hours, got underpaid for that job, but like figured it out. Then when the next one came and said, hey, can you do this?
Yeah, because a buddy
like,
had another shop and then he wanted the,
yeah.
done.
So then the referral and then it's like, yeah, I can do that. And I'm actually going to make money in this now because now I know how to do it. I know what to ask for in advance.
Yeah.
I know all those things. So it's like you build confidence as you go.
Yeah.
But speaking
like
to that imposter syndrome is like, if you truly feel like that, maybe you need to read a book. Maybe you need to get on YouTube.
There's like
maybe
a billion podcasts on business, guys doing it, so many books.
Yeah. If there's an area you're not confident in, go learn it. And sometimes you have to pay for it. Like YouTube has a ton of free information, obviously. But it's also like, that phrase, like you pay to pay attention or it pays to pay attention is like, we could learn anything on YouTube, but it's free and there's no like skin in the game. But the things like I have found, the things I've invested in, the programs I've invested in, the groups of people, the classes I've invested in, like when I've put my money on the line, I pay attention differently. I show up intentionally. Especially if someone else like invested into it for me, I feel this level of accountability and stewardship that like I'm going to get the most out of this.
Right.
And I just think even like in the church space, when they've invested in me in like personal development in an area that's going to benefit the church, I hold that with like such high honor that I'm not going to miss a class. I'm not going to miss a call. I'm not going to miss those things. I'm going to do the work. I'm going to put feet to all those things. And I've grown so much in those spaces where on day one, I felt like an imposter.
Right.
Like I'm in this room looking around at these people like, why am I here? How did I get here? And yet what was so cool in that experience is as I learned, as I grew, I had stuff to share too. And so it is just like putting yourself out there, getting uncomfortable, even as you're saying like boardroom meetings and stuff is like terrifying. Still sounds terrifying in my brain. But it's like the more I've put myself out there in situations like that and stretched and made myself uncomfortable on purpose, I've grown in every one of those. So whether I came out with a job or not, whether I got the end product that I wanted, which oftentimes I did, I grew personally in that experience. And so sometimes you have to just taking that step. Are you worth investing in yourself? Like if you're not willing to invest in yourself, why do you expect other people to pay you?
Good night.
Especially if it's like high ticket, if you're trying to charge more for something. Right. If you don't even believe in yourself that you can do it, then you're not going to feel confident asking for that.
Yeah.
But as you learn, as you grow, as you see what you're capable of, as you actually help people get a result and can see that and point to those things, like then why wouldn't you charge more? Like, and it's because you're helping people. I think the imposter syndrome comes in when you don't believe in yourself being able to get the result. And then, you're taking advantage of people. You're just trying to get the money,
right?
Whatever it is. But like we can serve people at a higher level when we charge more for those things, like the quality even in the painting industry,
right?
The quality you're able to deliver on a job when you can pay the crew appropriately, when you can buy the higher price materials that are higher quality,
spend the time on prep, actually replace boards, do the thing,
fine tune, like looking over things at the end rather than just like the blow and go, get it done and move on because they lowballed you or they haggled you down to nothing. And it's like, I don't have time to spend money on this. I have to keep go on to the next job or I'm going to lose money. So it's like it's just finding the right people that will value what you do. And if you don't value it, no one else will.
Right.
So
that's good. I really like because when as you you're not rejecting jobs. You're still taking them on. You're still learning because it's all like data, right? So you're always taking data, even if it's like, I haven't done that before. Unless it's something completely out of left field, but if it's still kind of in your world, like you should take it. And like maybe it isn't, like you're not charging what you probably could, but you could learn from it, take the data, learn how to do the research on it, and then do it. And maybe you didn't make all the money, but the next one, now you know how to do it. You're going to do a lot faster. You're going to do a lot better, and you're going to actually make money. And then you can, that's the thing, to add to your portfolio or another service to your business. And then now, now you're making more money in a different way that you didn't even know. And then who knows what that door opens up to, because there's so many people out there that just need somebody to do it for them.
Yeah.
Like,
money's not even a question.
Money is not even
They
a
just
question.
want it
Like,
done.
we as business owners, especially like small business owners, like we can get so much in our head about things that, like, that person doesn't even care, bro. They just want it done. And if you can do it and they don't have to worry about it, and at the end of the day it turned out good, and they don't care how you got there, like, that's all that matters. And because the value that you're getting as that owner, or as the business owner, of learning and growing and just taking on another project and doing the thing, like, you're growing, so much. And then that business owner is super happy. Well, business owners have friends and they refer to you. Yeah, she was great to work with. He was great to work with. Da, 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 da. Next thing you know, you have all these other clients. You're like, wait, how did, just because like you didn't say no, you took it. Then, like, even though maybe a little bit scared, but still step forward. And that's how you're growing in your confidence, because, like, I'm not going to say no. We're going to do it. We're going to grow. And the next thing you know, now, like, you have all these other clients, you have all these other abilities and skills. And I think, because even as you're growing in business, like, you can be stuck in the mindset of, like, when you're doing payroll and then figuring it out in taxes and different things like that. Like, there's things in business that, like, you shouldn't figure out. You should just hire for.
Yeah.
Like,
You're
and then
wasting your energy to try to figure
so
it out.
that you're confident in it.
Yeah.
So, like, if you have a tax person that is good, like, you have confidence that, like, he or she is looking at my numbers and knowing when I should buy things or sell this or move this around or invest in here to move whatever we have to do, put money aside to pay, or whatever it is. Like, that's confidence. That's a confidence. Because if you don't have that, then you're at the end of the year super nervous because you have no idea what the heck just happened in that year. You know what I mean? So, like, having the right people in place too, with, like, that confidence,
to keep you
key.
focused on, like, what your strengths are.
Right.
So why would I, even in this, like, this little journey with us, like, I've learned editing through other things, but, like, it's very time consuming. We have new gear, cameras, all these things that, like, I don't know how to use, but it's like, should my time be trying to figure out all of these things, or, hey, do we know someone that we could hire to do all that stuff so that we can focus on growing the business and doing the things, planning the episodes, all
you're
that stuff.
paying for confidence too.
Yeah.
Like, you have confidence, yes, in yourself, and that's what we're talking about as well. But sometimes you have to pay for confidence, meaning you pay someone to do it for you, versus you literally beating your head against a brick wall trying to figure it out, super stressed out for something that you can pay somebody for little to no money, or maybe a lot of money depending on what it is. But yet they're killing it and you don't have to worry about it. Like, what's the value in that? Like, value / confidence that, like, my dude that edits, or my girl that does the taxes, or my social media manager, whatever, like, they kill it and I don't have to worry a thing about it. I can focus on what I do, growing. Because if, like, exactly. So as a business owner, like, I think so many of us get stuck in this, like, little canoe. I'm gonna call it, I guess we're calling it canoe right now. We've been in a little canoe this episode. But, like, you're, like, in this little canoe, like, with, like, a little paddle, like a little single
one-man canoe,
little one-man band.
Yes.
And we're not ever stepping out because we can't ever grow, because you're literally doing everything. And either the lack of confidence in just giving it to somebody, because that's a thing too. Like, you're just, like, as a small entrepreneur, small business owner, like, little family vibes, like, you only hire family, you only hire friends, and you never step out of, like, growing into an actual business, because, like, you can't give out the control. You're
just emotionally attached
to something
to
that baby. And there's those special projects that people start and they, but then, like, next thing you know, it's like it consumes every bit of who they are, and they never get beyond, like, that very first goal or vision that they had when they first started the thing. Like, man, this could be so big, but but then you start doing it, and now you're just like stuck doing like the canoe like by yourself, and like you're not handed out to anybody. So what do you think? Do you think that everybody could have a business?
Could have a business?
Yeah, could, like, do you think everybody...
Like, be a business owner?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
This is a question. I'm just asking you
I'm
a question.
curious what your answer is. I think there's some people that just love the security and the safety of, and it's also kind of a false security and safety because companies can go under all the time.
Yeah. If you think it's security to have your own business, then you haven't run your own business.
Yeah. And then corporate's not necessarily safe either.
Right.
People get laid off and fired all the time for whatever. So it's just like what people feel comfortable in. But some people, I think, there's like big vision people, but they don't know how to execute. But then there's other people that just want to be told what to do and are faithful and are amazing employees.
Which you need that.
Yeah. And you need that. So I think as far as like could, yes, but would do well and last, I don't think so. What do you think?
Here's my thing.
Okay.
This is what I tell everybody.
Okay.
When they're thinking about starting a business or doing this or that. If you're not willing to go to zero, meaning ain't no money in your account right now. If you're $0 potentially negative. Like, if you're not willing to go there, then you should not be in business. You should not run your own business. You should go and apply and be the best employee that you can be for somebody and grow there and do your thing and make as much money as you can. Because as a business owner, if you're not willing to go to zero, which obviously that's never the goal, right? Yeah. But there's different growth times and different times in business where you're growing and you're doing things, and sometimes things don't work out. A contract failed, a client left you, a client fired you, a client moved, bad review, whatever it is, and all of a sudden like money stops coming in, and you have to figure it out. So in that season, if you're not willing, you have to play that out in your head. So it's like, if that season were to happen and everything leaves and goes to zero, if you can't handle that, you should not be in business. And it's like a serious conversation because it's like everything's on the line. You know what I mean? As a business owner, a small business owner in particular, like everything's on the line. So you gotta be getting better. You got to be out there landing jobs. And this is why we're having this confident conversation, because like, I want to encourage somebody right now listening to this conversation that like, start growing today.
Yeah.
Grow in confidence today so that you can be better for your family in the long run. So like, once again, everything comes back to legacy. What are you leaving to your kids? Like, if you grow in confidence, your kids are growing in confidence. But if you're scared, if you're not stepping out, if you're not doing the thing, if you're just stuck in your own little single canoe, well, you're putting that on your kids too. Mm-hmm. So now your kids, they're not going to be confident. So like as they get older, because they get different feelings and different things from you as a parent, because they just watch you do it. You know, they watch you struggle and this and that. So they kind of take it on too, unintentionally, of course, but
that's what was modeled.
But that was modeled to them.
Yeah.
So if you're not willing to go to zero, have that serious heart-to-heart conversation with yourself, right? And then if you said, yeah, I'm all in, we're doing this thing, the tough times and the good times, because the good times is great, you know?
Yeah.
When things are rolling, doing good, like things are amazing, right? But the things that get tough, it's like, no, we're still in. So if you're willing to do it, then it comes down to burning the boats. That little canoe, you're burning it.
Set it on fire.
Set that John right on fire.
Get out of it first, though.
You should get out
of it.
Yeah. You should get out. So this conversation, there was a book about it, but it was basically this old like samurai, like these Japanese guys that would go from island to island and like take over land. And the commander, the general, after they would dock, they would set the boats on fire, all the ships, set them ablaze, Meaning, we're not going to retreat. We're not turning around. We're going to come here to this island doing what we were supposed to do, which is taking it over. So there was no looking back. And when things got tough, when people were coming at them, their army maybe is a little bit tougher. They weren't ready for that ambush or that little thing that pop up. There was no turning back to the ships that were there because they were on fire. So it's just that, like that concept in business, like if you truly believe that this is what you're supposed to be doing, like then you have to burn the boats. You have to get out of that mindset of like that fallback of like that sense of security somewhere else, or I'll call back so-and-so, or maybe I can call him and get a job. Like, no, if you are committed to your business, then you got to burn the boats. You got to get that mentality thinking out of like where we can retreat or we can just, back down. Like, no, like, if you're going to be successful in this life and business, then you have to burn the boats and you got to move forward.
Yeah.
Because it's not easy, but it also is satisfying. It also is fun.
Well, I feel like it's because when you hit that first roadblock or that first hard customer, then it's like your natural tendency for a lot of people would be, okay, this isn't going to work, or I don't want to deal with this confrontation, so I'm just going to go back to whatever I was doing.
Right.
Whereas confidence is built in overcoming situations like that, persevering through things like that, learning how to pivot. I even just think of like how many business owners, how many companies through COVID had to pivot. And like you in the painting business, like started offering virtual estimates. Like, let's do a walkthrough. Let's FaceTime me and take a tour of your house. Like, if you would never think to do that if you weren't like a business-minded burn the boats mentality. Right. It would just be like, oh, I guess we can't do this anymore. What's going to be next? And so many companies folded, and it's not just because they couldn't pivot or like didn't have vision or ingenuity or those kinds of things. Like, there's all kinds of reasons, obviously. So this is a generalization, but just that ability to like persevere through anything. And I think that's how confidence is built, is because I've overcome all these challenges. Even that hotel job that literally took us out in that season. Now you're wiser and you're stronger. You're smarter today. You have the things in place today. Right. The business is stronger. You're stronger, and you're more confident and like keen to those things when you encounter a situation like that. Right. You know how to respond. You know what to look for. You know the red flags because you walked through that before. Not because you walked through that and then folded in the towel and went to work at Jamba Juice or something, but because you like got back in the canoe, you got back on it and kept going and learned from it instead of let that be the reason that took you out. And so I just think of when we talk about successful people, they're not successful because they never failed. They're successful because they didn't quit. Even given all the failures. We use those failures as learning lessons and building blocks into making our company stronger, our business stronger, and our own like personal character stronger.
Failure is a part of life.
Yeah.
Failure is a part in everything you do.
Yeah.
It's how you handle the failure. And in business, like, you're going to fail. You're going to have a bad client. You're going to have a bad job that goes wrong. But it's how you handle that situation. Yeah. Like a grown man or woman, handle it, fix it, make it right. We're not just saying like, run away and own up to it. You need to make it right. Yeah. And then move on. And now you've grown from that. So whether your contracts change or like expectations for clients or however you need to word things, like your sales game maybe changes, like, because now it's like that, like a sports analogy where it's like when somebody is in the NBA finals. So like this year right now, as we're recording this, like it's the NBA finals 2025.
I didn't know that.
Cool. Oklahoma City Thunder versus the Indiana Pacers. The series is tied 2-2. This is just for,
this is riveting.
You know what I mean? Can I be like a sports announcer?
Okay, go for it.
So, but at the end of this, one of those teams are going to lose. That's how it works, right? Well, that other team that loses has two options. Soak in their sorrows. Man, what could have been? Oh man, we almost did. Or in that off season, hit that gym. Work out even harder. Yeah. Run even further. Get a better nutrition, another strength and conditioning coach. Go in a little bit harder. Shoot more shots of this summer. Like, do everything they possibly can to come back the next year fired up and ready to go back to that finals and try to win it again. Like that's you have two options in life when you fail in business or something fails in investments or whatever. Like you can just give up, file bankruptcy, give all, go back to, like you said, working at Jamba Juice. But shout out to Jamba Juice, because that sounds amazing right now. We need people working there, because we keep you employed. That sounds great right now. Or you learn from it. You change your contracts. You go to take some classes, like you were saying. Join an inner circle from somewhere. Like learn something, get mentor, find a mentor. That's a good start anyways. And grow and learn. And then that next big job that comes up, or the next big client, or whatever business you're in, like you have that now. You have the confidence of like, yeah, we got this now. Yeah. And I just think that we're constantly always growing in this. Should be. Like we always should be learning. Our mentor, like maybe we pass our mentor. Maybe that's the goal, right? Like that's the goal, is like one day, like we need to find a new mentor, because like now we're at the same level as our current one, which is amazing. And so then we go and find another one. We go seek another one. We go find someone else that can challenge us, that can open our eyes to see different things, so that we can continue to build confidence in ourselves, so that we can go out there and just kill it in business. Yeah. And I think
if you've stopped growing, you need to get in a bigger room.
You better say that again.
People that challenge you and make you keep growing.
You better say that again.
If you're the smartest person in the room, you need to find a new room. I did not come up with that. I don't know who came up with that. Shout out to the original author of that quote. Yeah. But we've experienced that too, Yeah. It's like, I'm super grateful for our circle of friends and all that they are to us, the support and encouragement that they are. And also there's been this like huge momentum and excitement in entering new spaces, specifically in the business world, and what that's done for our vision and for our, those people that encourage you to keep going, and the community aspect of then you can learn from other people's failures. You don't have to only learn from your own. You can hear stories from other people.
It's nicer to learn from someone else.
So much better when it's not your money on the line.
Less painful, in your heart.
Yes. Is you can say, hey, I'm dealing with this situation. Have you ever done anything like, oh yeah, I did. And this is what helped get me out of it, or this is what I did, So there's so much power in community and the circle of people that you come to and talk to about those things. So, and not internalizing failure. Like just because you hit a failure doesn't mean you're not good at, like the voice that we immediately hear is, I'm a failure. I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I knew this wasn't going to work out. So-and-so told me this would never work out. There's so many like internal things that we have to overcome back to childhood even, that sometimes that can be triggering. But it's like having those people around you that speak life into you, that you are not a failure. Failure is not the final step, like the final thing for you.
That's why it's great to be in those rooms, like for when you do fail or something messes up.
Yeah, that voice can get loud in your head.
You can hear that encouragement, because sometimes that's all we need is encouragement to like keep going. Yeah. Or to hear, like, because in the group that we're in, like people share wins and stuff for like the week or the month. Yeah. And then like we maybe not share anything or whatever, and it's like that just fires you up. Yeah. Like, wait, I got
encouraged just hearing what happened with you.
Yeah. Like, let's go. Like, we can do it too. Like, so just being in rooms like that, in different circles like that can help that with that confidence too.
And perspective, because like our problem seems so big to us until you hear people that have way bigger situations, and you're like, oh, this is nothing to you. Like we thought this was gonna end
losing.
us.
Like I think that's what it was. It was like, we lost like that on that job, like 50 grand or more, or whatever it was, and plus all the other stuff.
That's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money. Then you hear somebody like losing like $1 million,
millions
went wrong.
Of dollars. And we're like,
I'm like, oh. That would hurt a lot more. To lose $1 million versus 50,000. It'd be cool
to have that much to lose. Like so we can get there.
Everything is perspective. Yeah. Like, and obviously it's so loud in our face in the moment, right? Because
it doesn't feel good.
It doesn't feel good. We're dealing with all the stuff. But knowing this, that like if you keep going, you deal with the speed bumps, you put out the fires, you keep going to the other side, you're going to be so much better, so much stronger, with so much more confidence that like your business will go to the next level. Yeah. Because you just came out of that blaze and maybe a little had to like kind of pat that.
Got some rips in your clothes.
Got some rips in your clothes and had little burn marks, but like you're at the end of the day, you're still alive.
Yep.
And your business is going to be even better for that, and you are going to be better
Or
for
the
that.
new business. Like maybe it was just a bad business idea. That's okay too.
Yeah.
Like we hold on. I think we can hold on to bad things for so long. So we've invested so much into it. And it's like, maybe this business isn't it. Maybe you're just learning a ton from this. And now it's going to set you up for the next thing.
Yeah.
And maybe you learned, like you talked about, from the data, from talking to the customers, from experiencing their issues and all that. Maybe you got an idea, a better idea from that.
From the data.
To do something else. And
Yeah.
it's okay.
Yeah.
To ditch that and to follow this new thing, as long as you're not like bouncing so much that, you know, and that comes back to having wise counsel in your life and people to bounce those ideas off of. But sometimes it's okay to let a business die so that you can go to the thing that
The one that was supposed to be.
succeed. Yeah.
That's good. We hope that you enjoyed this episode. We truly believe that you could be successful in business, marriage, and family. And in that, confidence is key. So we think that this will be a great one for you to save so that in those tough times you can come back, watch this episode, get encouraged, and get back out there. So subscribe so you can stay up to date with all of our episodes coming soon. Talk to you later.